Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Sushmita and in this video I'm going to be ranking all the Harry Potter books, which is quite a difficult task for me because I love them. These are like my favorites and my comfort books. If I'm sick, I like to reread any of these books, and if I'm feeling sad, I reread this book. So yeah, this is quite a difficult task for me, but we are going to do it. The very first book in the series is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. It is a fairly simple book with very simple language and simple story, which actually acts as a doorway into this magical world, into the rest of the series that the author is building. So, which is quite okay because this book is intended to be for kids. But even as an adult now, when I reread this book, I am transformed into the kid who found herself mystified and mesmerized by this magical world and hoped so much that the world is actually true and that she gets a letter for her for admission into Hogwarts. This book brings you into the magical world, and it is, I think, intended for the world building purpose only. So yeah, and it's very special. Just I think the book is more special to me in terms of the memory, the nostalgia that is associated with it, and I would rank this book at number 3. The second book in the series is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Now in this book, Harry is in the second year of Hogwarts, and again the magical world is being built up some more, and we are introduced into new characters like Dobby, and also this very annoying quirky character called Gilderoy Lockhart, who is hired as the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher in Hogwarts. Why that person was hired by Dumbledore just escapes me, but he is too real. You know, he is just an exaggerated version of real life people that we know who like to take undue credit, even while harming the person or even while harming the people who are, deserve the actual praise or the actual credit. I also loved how this book, fleshed out Filch, and we got a bit of a backstory to that annoying caretaker in Hogwarts. This book basically is a mystery, because throughout the book we are trying to figure out who is responsible for all the horrible occurrences at Hogwarts, which is now threatening the safety of the students at Hogwarts. But this book is a book of plot conveniences and plot armors. So towards the end of the book, when Harry is in the Chamber of Secrets, we have Tom Riddle out here. There is a freaking basilisk. There is a first year Hogwarts student dying on the floor, and out of nowhere comes Phoenix with the Sorting Hat carrying the sword of Godric Gryffindor. When you break it down to consider the survival of a second year Hogwarts student who's quite new to various protective spells, who is quite young, the survival chances are almost non-existent, I think. So yeah, this is I love all the books, okay, for all the Potterheads out there. I love all the books. I am myself a Potterhead, but well, you always have a favorite or two, no? So while ranking this book, I think this is my least favorite book in the entire series, and I would like to rank it at number 7. Now the third book in the series is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This is such a special book for me because this book introduces one of my favorite characters, Remus Lupin. He is so warm, so kind, and such a compassionate teacher, and you can see all the students performing so much better in the Defense Against the Dark Arts when Remus Lupin is their teacher. The first 2 books in the series, they are fairly simple. We are getting into the magical world building, and that world building continues in this as well, but now we are getting more complex characterizations with introduction of new characters, of Lupin, of Sirius Black, of Wormtail. till now we have hated characters like Quirrell, Snape, but now our hatred for this character Wormtail is so much more. And I think kudos to the writing for being able to invoke such strong feelings from us, because the book so brilliantly delves into themes of friendship, loyalty, betrayal. Of course, there is this small issue of time traveling, which I think after this book the author also ignored, and we can also ignore because it is a very small part of the book. This book ranks second for me in the series. The fourth book in the series is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and this is the book I think which marks the shift of the tone in the series from this magical, mesmerizing world to darkness. So the book begins with the murder of an innocent person and it ends with the murder of another. And oh, the death at the end, it even hurts me now thinking about it. So we are introduced to a world beyond Hogwarts. We are introduced to two other schools of magic, and we actually get an idea of how the government in this magical world works. So in the book there is a Triwizard tournament between these three schools of magic, and I personally loved reading about all the tasks that the champions had to complete to win in the Triwizard tournament, and how stakes are so high, how competitive the schools are, how competitive the students are, which some people I think had problem with these tasks, but I personally loved them. But again, these tasks were laced with plot conveniences, and also when you think it from the perspective of the audiences of these tasks, they would be quite boring to watch, because in most of the tasks you do not get to see what the champions are doing, or you do not get to see how the champions are performing. You just get to see the champions when they enter the task and when they come out of the task. So from the perspective of a live audience, this tournament would be so boring to watch. But this again is a book riddled with plot conveniences, but again this is the book that made me weep with its ending. And I would like to place this book at 5th place. The 5th book in the series is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, and this book is quite a mammoth of a book. Am I fat shaming a book? Sorry for doing that. So in this book we are introduced into the complex politics in the wizarding world with characters like Fudge and Umbridge. We are shown that how this wizarding world is not just divided into Death Eaters and good people. We are shown that traits like jealousy, insecurity, prejudice, greed, hunger for power can turn any person evil without them being a Death Eater. The book also deals with teenage angst, because Harry had to deal with the trauma of losing a fellow Hogwarts student. He was being ignored by one of the people in his life that he looked up to. He was being isolated from his friends. So, and how he sometimes had outbursts because of that. And he was also getting called out for that from his friends. So I think that portrayal of teenage angst and how that is expressed, I loved that about this book. Some people I think have problem with Harry's angst and his outbursts, but I think we can give them that break. This boy had to go through so much, and even his outbursts are not something out of place or not something very cruel, and he's also getting called out for his actions, which is quite okay, I believe. And I actually liked that about this book. We are constantly reminded that these are actually kids. Harry is actually a kid, a teenager who's having to deal with this life and death situation. The book also brilliantly handles so many things, that magical fight at the ministry, and we are introduced to the power of this person, Albus Dumbledore. That fight at the ministry between Dumbledore and Voldemort is, I think, one of my favorite sequences in the entire series. And I would like to place this book at 4th rank. The rank would have been actually higher, but there are certain issues with pacing. I think these certain instances of Quidditch practices I think could have been shortened. Even jkrowling, she agrees that she could have shortened the book by a few pages. The sixth book in the series is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, which I think is such a beautifully written book. Every character, every subplot has its purpose and its successful, satisfying conclusion. We get to see Draco's mission, how he goes about it, introduction of Slughorn and his purpose. We are given this painful realization that even our heroes are fallible. Teenage drama here, of silly crushes, heartbreaks, and that made the book so real and made the stakes so high, because at the end of the day, these are kids who are dealing with such terrible circumstances. This is my favorite book in the entire series, so naturally this one goes at the number 1 place. The seventh and the final book of the series is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Now at the beginning of the book, whatever happens outside Hogwarts. We get Harry, Ron and Hermione's journey to find the Horcruxes and how to destroy them. I've actually read and also heard people complaining about their journey and how they find it boring, but I think that is so real, because sometimes when we see a glorious end product, we admire it so much, we praise it so much, but we ignore the tedious amount of work that goes behind achieving that something amazing. So I think that felt very real to me, and I actually loved that. So many things are so brilliantly done in this book. The infiltration of Ministry of Magic, the break-in at Gringotts, the altercation at the Malfoy Manor, our losing of some beloved characters, the revelation about Snape, Neville proving himself to be actually a true Gryffindor, the fall of Bellatrix Lestrange at the hands of what we see as a very lovable, homely witch, and in the end, Voldemort dying as a mortal man. This book brilliantly concludes this magical journey we have been through in this series from the first book till this one, and yeah, oh man, I want to read these books again now. But yeah, I would like to put this book at the 6th rank, and so these are my ranking. At the first place I have Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, second place Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, at the third place I have Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, at the fourth place I have Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, fifth place Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, sixth place Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, and at last I have Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. If you have your ranking and you would like to debate it out, my comment section is open. Please like this video, comment your preferences, and yeah, subscribe to my channel. Bye.